Alright guys, what's up? So, it's been a while since I made a video. As you can see, I've got all the brake lines run. Everything is set up and ready to go. The only thing I need to do is actually bleed them and get them working. I got some nice braided cables. Everything's AN fittings. We use NICOP for the line. And then obviously like the Willwood setup. It's really nice. On the diff, I use the brass block that was already on the rear end as a spacer. Another thing that got done is the cab got seam sealed on the inside. It's covered up right now because I was having an issue with cats. And every time I uncovered the truck, I would have to scuff it up and clean off rusty areas because of them. So I've got it covered up. It's a little bit of a pain. Every time I need to get in and out, I have to take one of these sides off. But it's better than having to clean up rust every time I want to work on the truck. So we got that. All that done. I threw the alternator mount and tensioner on the motor because I'm getting ready to set up for that. I do need to get a new tensioner. This one is no good. Obviously at some point I'll get a new alternator, but what we're going to do today is put on a whole bunch of parts that I ordered. So I got a new water pump coming because, for one, this thing is bent here just a little bit. It's a little bit wobbly. The other thing is all my ports are corroded, rusted, beat up, and so I figured I'd just get a new one and replace the gaskets and everything all at once. I got a high flow one, which people recommend for this motor and how it runs and everything, so I got that. It's not here yet, but I do have a new housing for this with a new thermostat and gasket ready to go, so we'll put that on. I've got hoses. Let me show you what we're looking at. So I got this one. Not crazy about the chrome, but it is what it is, and I can always change it later if it drives me absolutely insane. But got a Mr. Gasket water neck. I've got a Felpro gasket and a 180 degree thermostat. So that's what's going on in the motor today, and then when I get the water pump in, we'll put that on. And for the water pump, I've got a new pulley here. The one I have is a V-groove pulley for an older motor. Just some extra stuff. I got another ground cable to ground the block to the frame. There's one of the bypass hoses, and I got a bunch of these temporary. Once I'm done with the truck and it's running and driving and all that, I'll go back and replace this type of stuff with nicer things. And then here's a bunch of boxes, because another thing I'd like to get to is replacing the pan on the transmission. So let me show you why. In order to get this transmission hooked up to column shift, I need to get it in focus. I need this arm to be 180 degrees. So right now it's in the park position. So if I just put it up, it's in the north position, and this actually needs to be flipped around to the south position for a column shift. So the way you do that is you drop the pan, and then there's a nut back here. You loosen it. This slides out just enough. You can flip it 180 degrees, push it back in, tighten it up, good to go. Well, while I'm under here, I figured I'd replace the filter, and I'm going to need a new gasket. And this pan is pretty beat up. It's still fine, but a lot of people recommend putting a pan with a drain plug on, and they're not expensive, so I got one ready to go, and it actually should give me better clearance for this cross member, because as you can see, It's very close. So, I should hopefully be able to drop this and get it out. We'll probably pull it out into the grass or something where I won't make much of a mess and get that done. So, drop this, flip that, put a new filter and all that on there, and we should be good to go. The other thing, I got a new dipstick. So this one never actually had the dipstick with it, just the tube, and it's loose. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull that out, and I got a whole new tube and dipstick right here with I guess this one has a locking, so that'll be cool. So yeah, we'll get started with putting in the new thermostat. All right, got it off. The inside looks, I mean, it's a little dirty, but if the outside wasn't so corroded, I'd keep this, but it's pretty messed up. The thermostat looks clean, looks good. I'm gonna get that all scraped clean and get the new one put together. So one of the things that was recommended to me is to change this over to a 180 degree temperature thermostat. If it'll focus. Hey. Now, I don't know if the camera's picking it up, but it does say 192. And so most people recommend changing from the 195, 192-ish range thermostats to the 180, which is what I've got sitting right there. Look what showed up. Ta-da! You've been found. Boom. Look at that. Nicest looking piece on this motor now. It is out of place. I'm not trying to build a chromed out looking thing. This is kind of shiny, but I'm not crazy about chrome, and I have heard that this chrome might start flaking off after a few flashes of heat, so it might get replaced later. It was just way cheaper than getting an original style. I'm just gonna make it work for now, but yeah, that looks good. I'm happy with that. Oh, we got a little bit of fluid. That's about as much as I can pry on it because the cross member is keeping it there. Because of how close the pan is to the cross member here, it can't drop down enough to just slide out, and the filter's in the way of me sliding it first and then dropping it. So hopefully what'll work is those two bolts right there will release the transmission, or make the transmission free. And all I gotta do is put a floor jack under the tail of the transmission and lift it up. And all I need is a little bit, so hopefully I can lift it enough up that it will allow that pan to clear and I can pull it out. So I got it jacked up and it's starting to pour out as I lift it up. And that cross member is just kind of holding it there. That's as high as my jack's gonna go. Automatic overdrive metric. Huh. Well, that's pretty cool. It's too rusted out on the bottom to read that, but that's pretty neat. There she is. And now the way that my cross member here is built, that's just a trough now for trans fluid. So I might come back and drill a little drain hole. For now I'm just going to mop it up basically. I just want to show you guys how clean it is under here. Look at that. And there's a date, March 04, 1982. So that's what I thought it was, an 82, which is cool because my motor's an 80, so this is a pretty good pair. Everything looks super clean, super good. And like I said, I was told that this came out of a low mileage limousine, so that's pretty cool. I got some stamps here. It says Lester-4. I don't know if that's a factory or what. I'll have to look that up, but alright, what's up? So we're back to working on the truck. It's actually a week later, it's the next Saturday, and the part came in that held us up last time, this gasket for the valve body on the transmission. So hopefully we can get this transmission put back together and move on to other things. Alright, it's all back together. Let's look under here. Other than the actual pan itself, got the new filter on, got all the linkage and shifter stuff back together. It's working the same as it was when I took it apart. But yeah, it went back together really smoothly. It was a pain getting it started. I needed like 3 or 4 more hands, but I got it. And now I just got to put the pan back on, and then the transmission, I pushed it up a little too high and it went out of its slots here, so I have to take off the bolts or loosen the bolts on the frame in order to get it back in here and then tighten it all back up. So that's gonna take a minute, but got our new pan and glue blocker gasket. I love when stuff comes with cool stickers like this. I'm not crazy about it being chrome, but for the price and what it is, it's a really good deal, and I'll use it. I'm not really gonna. It's not like I'm gonna be looking at it anyway, and it comes with a drain plug. People do recommend changing this out with a magnetic one, but I'm gonna leave it like it is for now. What's crazy is this one is probably beefier than the original, so that's pretty cool. All right, I got the pan on there. You can see your reflection in it. Got it back down on here. Before, the pan was really close to this cross member here on both sides. It's a little bit closer on the passenger side. When I put this pan on, the gap was even tighter. You could probably barely fit like a business card through there. It was pretty tight. So all I did was I made some spacers. I think that's gonna be it for this video. We got the linkage switched over in the transmission, which is pretty much all we did. We just had to take it way apart to get to it, and then wound up having to wait on parts so we could put it back together. Brake lines are in now. I'm still waiting on fitting so I can get the transmission line in. That'll be coming up. I gotta paint the water pump so I can put that on. We got a ton of parts in and a ton of parts put on, and a ton more parts still to get and put on. So yeah, that's what we're working on next. Thanks for watching, and take it easy.